Hey everybody, welcome to this Board Game Life episode number 78, titled When Publishers Fail. This is the show about games, board games, tabletop games, card games, any kind of games we want to talk about. I am one of your fine hosts for today. My name is Rob, and with me, as always, I got my best bud, Mark.
Hey, Rob, what's up? What's up?
What up?
What up,
And,
player?
and we're back, folks. Or should we have, some cool names? Like, you could be Ray Gun.
No.
Are you sure?
No. We're not
You're
doing
from the
no.
not from the Olympics.
You're not B-boy Rob, no. And I am not Ray Gun. Don't you dare.
I don't know if I could do any of those moves. I could probably fall down the stairs really easy. Go head over heels down the stairs, but yeah, if I get down on the ground, it's going to take me a while to get up. At least that's how it has been for a while now. Sucks being old.
Yep.
So we'll scratch that idea. All right, let's get on with the show, because I'm sure everybody's wondering what we're talking about with when publishers fail.
Oh,
I
have been waiting.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know where this is going. You've been like chomping at the bit. You're like sitting there like vibrating in your chair, just waiting
Yes.
for me to stop yapping and we can get on with the show so you can talk about it. I think are we going to get a rant? Like old school rant? No, plural rants.
We got a couple things to discuss.
Yeah, a couple two, three things.
If I rant, it's going to be on the first item I discuss, because that one really is. Well, we'll see. You'll see when we get there.
Yeah. So I'll start off real quick. My list of games to the table is not huge. I played Encore, aka Nochmal, which came out like 8 years ago, and it's a roll and write game that is designed by Inca and Marcus Brand, which is a designer duo. It's a husband and wife team. They made a whole bunch of other cool games that I've enjoyed, like Village. They did a whole bunch of the Exit games, which is kind of like I want to say they're like escape room games. And then there was that one, man, what is it called? Something with the Ganges, Rajas of the Ganges, and a ton of other games. So it's cool that it's a husband and wife team that are doing it. Not only do they play together, but they design together. So that's pretty sweet. But anyway, getting on to the Encore game. So this is a game that's been out for a while. It actually came out before Ganz Schön Clever and a lot of other games that became like super popular. Was not one of the first roll and writes, but is probably one of the bigger ones. So in Germany, it's called Nochmal, and it's called Encore in the United States, which I think is once Stronghold Games. I believe that's who brought it over. But anyway, this is a game that's actually pretty cool. It's cool to play as a group. It can even be played solo in multiple forms, and I'll get to that in a second. But in the game, you get a little pad, right? Typical, pad that's got your player board on there. You get your little black markers that actually sort of worked.
Is this like dry erase?
No, it's not. It could be. If you get a laminator, you can make it dry erase. But yeah, it actually comes with old school paper. And those little, I don't even know what you call them, but they're like the size of the golf pencils.
Yeah.
Those little pencils like that are like
those.
3-4 inches. Yeah. But it's the markers.
Yeah.
That I guess they work for a couple plays and then they dry out. And then you're like,
so go to a pen, right?
Something. Yeah. Why don't you give me something that actually works? But anyway, it is nice to get a marker or a little Sharpie, just because you can block out the spaces really nicely, like when you cross stuff out. That's the thing. If you use pencils, when like the stuff that you're writing on, like if it's at all slick or has a sheen to it, and if it's colored, pencils
Yeah.
are so hard to see. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Pens would be better, of course, and then Sharpies are really nice. Although they do have a habit of bleeding through, which in itself kind of stinks. But if I remember right, this is not one of those that has the game on both sides of the paper. So it's a one time use per sheet. So the markers are probably okay. But anyway, you get 4 dice. You get your little player board, and what you do is you roll your dice. It's going to have a bunch of colors on it and a bunch of pips. So you might roll. So there's two of each. You might roll, let's say, like you know, yellow and green, and a 2 and a 5. And the board, uh, or I'm calling it a board, but the player sheet has a distribution of shapes, I guess, where the certain colors are in what do they call it? Tetramino style pieces or orientations. You got your like T, you got your three, that are like in a corner. You got, five. It's multiple shapes like that. But anyway, what you're doing is you're basically choosing your colors and you're choosing your numbers and you're trying to cross off those spaces on your board to complete columns which score you points. And then there's also these stars that are distributed across the board where you really need to try to cross those out because at the end of the game they're basically like negative points. And you do get wilds, which help you fill in the spaces. You can get wilds and colors. You can get wilds and numbers. But every time you use those, it does cost you a point. So there's a little bit of give and take with that. But it's a fun little game. You play it across 30 rounds, I believe. Yeah, it's 30 rounds total. And it's a fun little game. It's a fun little game to play with other people. It's not a competitive game or anything like that. You're kind of doing your own thing on your own board. And I highly recommend it. It's cool, plays in about 10-15 minutes. You can get a whole bunch of these in one after another. Now, the one thing I did want to mention is that I've mentioned this on on the show before, that I am colorblind, red green colorblind, and some games are problematic. This is one of them. This is definitely one of them. So it makes playing the game a little challenging. If you're colorblind, you might struggle with that too. Um, the lighting definitely helps. There are times where I can discern what's what based on shade. You kind of learn what's what. And the thing that I did want to mention is that this game is also available online where you can play it for free. The game's by Schmidt Spiel, and I believe it was on their website. So I think they also made Ganz Clever and stuff like that, and all those games are on there as well. So you can play it on there. You can play it in a browser, and there's an app as well. And I also picked up the app for this, and I do have to say that the superior way to play it is actually the app if you're colorblind, because they saw that coming in the app, not the game in the pad, not the browser, but the app actually has little shapes on the colors,
Nice.
which I don't know why they couldn't do that on the game itself. I mean, this game came out a long time ago. I mean, you could be like colorblind friendly. Come on. What the heck?
Whatever.
But it is a fun little game, and I actually really enjoy it. It's almost like, do- have you ever played those like solo games that are like almost therapeutic?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when I'm
Gentle
playing,
Rain is like that.
yeah. So when I play it on my phone, that's kind of like what it is. You're just sitting there and you're like, doing your thing, like, oh, I can do like a 4 over here, or I can do this as a 3. And you're just kind of like mathing out which is the best way to do it. And
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a fun little game. Highly recommended if you like Genshin Clever and any of those other games. You know, I definitely think that you'd probably enjoy this one if you haven't played it already. So it gets a big thumbs up. That's nochmal. Oh wait, I'm just looking at the thing. It's nochmal bei einer Party bleeps nie. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, even
So
though I took German.
it's a lot longer than encore in
Yes.
German.
Encore exclamation
There
point.
you go.
But I imagine maybe Nachmal means like no more or something. No, I don't remember. Anyway, good stuff. Highly recommend it. Well, what have you gotten to the table?
I got a couple of things. I did get to play Plunder, A Pirate's Life.
Oh,
I
nice.
mentioned this after our Gen Con show, and I took it to game night, and we had a 6-player game.
Oh,
It,
wow.
it was so much
6?
fun, man. Yeah, it plays up to
Really?
6.
Oh, I bet that was like Crazy Town.
It was
Like,
so fun, man.
was it? Well, I was going to say
I
if
thought it was
somebody
fun.
doesn't. Okay, so you like conflict. So
No,
you
not no.
enjoyed it.
See, that's the thing is like it. Some people will view this as a mean game. Okay, I don't because
Because you
it's
won?
no,
No,
but
no, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
it's it's a pirate game. So yeah, you can choose to like you can trade with other players. You could even make alliances with other players if you want. You take everyone else, but then you're still going to have to duke it out at the end. But um, you know, everyone's just kind of like going around. If you're not going to take an island that belongs to someone else,
Hmm.
like in a 6-player game, you have to start sinking ships or taking islands.
Right.
You can't just go around and get treasure. That's not
Yeah, you can't just avoid everybody.
right. You can't. You're gonna
Well,
have to take some
you
people out.
you can.
Not with 6 players.
Right. Yeah, but I was gonna
You
say
there's no way to win and have all 6 players
yeah,
not combat.
because I was gonna say sometimes if you're kind of doing your own thing and you're like gathering resources while everybody's duking it out, then you're all
I
built up and then you come in and just do a smackdown on whoever's left. But
true,
I don't
but
think you can do that in Plunder though.
the only way to really do it is if you're like getting gold resources and buying plunder points. But
Yeah.
everyone can see what's going on and everyone should be paying attention to like what's going on. But it's interesting in a group. Like I've got a group that's really like they don't this is what I don't understand. Okay. They don't like quote mean games. Okay, but when you're playing a normal game, your goal is to beat everybody else. Like
Right.
a quote, let me say a normal game, right? A non mean game. You're still whooping everyone's butt, right? Your goal is to beat everyone. So, how is
Hmm.
a quote game like Plunder, A Pirate's Life any different? It's just that you're attacking them instead of not. Like, I.
Right.
You could probably look at a lot of games and say, "Well, this is a mean game." No, it's not. It's a pirate game. It's
How about like
awesome.
Monopoly? How about Monopoly? They
You
land
could
on your
say
space.
you could
Give me
say
your
that's a
money.
mean game. Exactly. So, you know, I
Yeah.
I don't I've had a couple games where people are like I feel like they don't like it because they consider it a mean game. And I'm like, "No, I don't consider it a mean game." I don't think I've
Yeah.
really ran into one where I'm like, "Okay, this one's just downright you're you know, you're just hosing people." I mean, I guess you could do that in Plunder. And I will say this, so no one was really combating, so I'm like, okay, I got to get this going. So I attacked a guy, and I felt bad about it,
Ah,
and I ended up like
wait, did you
basically knocking him out of the game to
okay.
the point where he was like, he was going to go and leave. Like he's like, I'm not going to sit
What?
here. I'm like, well, you're not out, but you can. There's still ways to get in, but
Why was it
it.
oh, I hate that when people are like, "I'm
Well,
out of here."
I think he felt like was he was the first one out and it was like So he tried to roll a couple doubles a couple times, and he was just like, all right, this is it. I'm not getting doubles. I'm just going to go because he didn't want to sit and watch everybody all night. Well, he rolled doubles. So he got back in. And then he made it his sole goal to come after me. so,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
like, that's fine, but I'm like,
Bring it.
you're
Yeah.
still missing the point of the game. Like, you went past people who are winning. You could have shot at them and you ignored them to come after me. So it's like, I kind of feel like sometimes people miss the whole point of the game. And it's like, I told him, I said, yeah, I feel bad because I'm not a mean player. That's not in me. And it was hard for me to do that because I was like, well, someone else will start it, and I'm usually like, I'll react. You come after me, I'm going to be more like this guy. I'm taking you down now. But it's like,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, people, we got to get in the mode. We got to get in the spirit of the game. This is what this is. And, I know others enjoyed it, but I know some probably didn't, just because they feel it's me. But I'm like, you know, if it was reversed and they were winning, I think they would have enjoyed it. It's one of the, so I don't know if that's a thing in the game or the person themselves. I don't know.
So yeah, I've seen that kind of stuff, and I've seen people do like the revenge thing, and like, have you heard the kingmaker
No.
like terminology where like people will attack others and then somebody else will win because of it. That's like one way to look at it.
Oh, yeah.
And because like coming back after you like that, that's pure revenge, and it's probably throwing strategy. I
Out the
mean,
window.
at that point, they're not playing anymore. They're not
No, no.
playing the game for the sake of the game or
Oh,
strategy or anything.
I don't know if I wouldn't say that's what he was doing. Um
Sure seemed like it. No,
Now,
no. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
because I mean, he's a really nice guy, and
Yeah.
I don't think that that's his play style. Um, but I think maybe just the setting, the group, the time. He was just like, all right, I'm just gonna come after you, in a fun way.
Yeah.
I think it was more of in a fun way, but at the
Gotcha.
same time, I got people who are like, they're not wanting to do that. They're not wanting to attack people. I'm like, you're a pirate. We're playing a pirate game. I announced this ahead of time, showed you what it was,
Yeah.
how to play. This is, you got to attack people. It's none of us are going to take it personal.
Yeah.
I got destroyed, and
It's
I
a
had fun.
right. It's a pirate game. It's not like trading treasure game.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, anyways,
Yeah.
it's a fantastic game. I love the moving storm. I love the moving treasures. I love that you can, it's a pirate game that's about basically getting your resources to get to be able to improve your ship's movement and combat. And that's basically it. That it's like a very simplified pirate game without this massive overhead of stuff.
Hmm.
And and it looks great on the table. I just really enjoy this game. It was such a surprise when Franco and his wife brought it out. Um and I can't believe how this one just right from the first play, like, oh my gosh, like, we weren't even done with the game and I had ordered it, and immediately first thing back,
Yeah.
even though I
It's
brought everything from Gen Con, I'm like, this is the first game my group played. Here we go.
yep. No, it's a sign of a good game where you're ordering it.
Yeah.
Oh, Amazon. Terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah. So, but
Okay,
anyways,
that's cool. Yeah.
so we played that. Played some Truffle Shuffle as well. This is the one that we got from the AEG event.
Yeah.
Um, my group, we did this as a wind down that night.
Yeah.
Just a couple of us stuck around. It's like, oh, we'll play a quick hand of Truffle Shuffle. I did take this also to my mother. She loved this game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She was like, you need to bring this back, which was great. She really
It's like a
enjoyed that.
bunch of chocolates.
Yeah. Chocolate poker.
Yeah.
Got some more Clank Legacy acquisitions incorporated in. We've got two we thought we were almost done, discovered a bonus mission, if you will. So we now have 2 more runs. So our next time we meet, we should be putting this one to bed and finishing Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated. Really love this. This has been a really fun legacy game. I really enjoyed this game. It's really cool.
You have to tear up cards.
I don't. I got his baggie full of stuff that's trash that you're supposed to destroy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, nope, they're all nice, pristine. Everything that's destroyed goes into a bag and I keep it.
Mhm. Actually, there
Um,
was, speaking of the legacy games, there's a game, I think it was Charterstone. I want to say it was Charterstone from Stonemeyer Games, where it's a game where you affect the game based on playing, and you change things, and they actually sold a reset kit,
See,
so
I think that
it
would be cool, but
replaced stuff.
it'd be tough. You couldn't do that with
Yeah,
Clank because you're stickering the crap out of the board.
so you get a new board. There you go.
You'd have to buy a new board. So
Yeah,
I don't know how expensive that would be, but it would
it's
allow you to go through it again, which
for the cost of a new game.
but again, I don't know if you've gone through it once.
Yeah.
Clank Legacy 2 is going to be released. It goes on pre-order next month with through Direwolf. So I'm gonna be like, heck yeah. So I think that's supposed to be out by the end of the year. And Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that in my group. We're gonna probably go through that one as well. So
Cool.
it's just been really fun. All right, moving on. Next one I played was Mandalorian Adventures. Uh, this was one I was going to look at Gen Con. I ended up not looking at it. I
It
kind
was
of wish I
difficult to get
had.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had. I bought it locally here. I'm playing like solo right now. I don't know. I I've done a couple missions and I'm kind of like, I'm mixed about it. So it's still set up on my table. I'm gonna still try to get through a couple more and see if I can get anything better. I know there's more to the game. So like when you open the box, there's a couple of envelopes are like, don't open these until told to do so. And so you go through like, I think the first 2 missions, and then it's like, oh, you can open up envelope not 1 right now if you want to put more into the game, or just wait till until directed. And I'm like, I'm only on mission 2. I'm not going to add more. I'm already learning more. Like, I'll just wait till I'm directed. So I want to get through to where I open up at least one of the envelopes and see what's in there and how it might change. But the weird thing is, it's like you're opening this book, and it's like this. If you're used to Jaws of the Lion or familiar with that, you have this book that opens up, and that's your board. So you open this one up, and it's like a comic that's supposed to introduce the mission, and then you flip it again and there's the board for that mission. Then once you complete it, you flip it over and there's another comic that you can read or look at to go, and then you flip again for the second map. And I think there's only like 4 maps in this whole game. So it just seems like, I guess I thought there'd be more, and I know there's more content that I haven't seen because it's in sealed envelopes. I'm just like, well, what else is there? Because what it sounds like, you come back and replay these maps just with a different story to it, but I'm not really sure because it's supposed to follow the storyline of the TV show from the season 1. And if you've watched that show, there's one where he's on a, like, I think it's episode 3, which I think is the third board in this game, where he's like on a prison ship doing a mission, and like that was the only time he was on that ship. So how am I going to come back to this later if this is following the storyline? So I don't know. Maybe once you do that, then maybe there's a way to, maybe it probably opens up and does different things for ways to play. I'll report back when I know more, but right now I'm kind of like I'm probably sitting at a 5 on this out of 10. I'm just like, I'm just not that impressed.
Well, maybe it's
Um,
is it the
so
solo aspect that might be tanking it a little bit,
I
or
don't even think it's that. And I mean, it could be, but I don't think so. I almost think this game's probably best to play by yourself. Um, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I would have to play it with some people, but again, it's hard because like there's one mission, like a couple of missions are like there's only 2 characters in it. So now I think there's rules that like if you want to put 4 people into it, then but it's like there's not enough like enemy tokens to put in to adjust it to be like okay, because then it's like you're just going to walk through everything. It's not even going to be complicated. And it's card based, so your movement, it's like it's you're going through a deck of cards, and that's like what you have. Whatever you have in your hand is what you're kind of limited to doing. So, yeah, I've just need to spend some more time with it. But one game I absolutely love that has shot up into my top 10 of all time immediately. I've
Ooh.
got to play this game a couple of times. This is one I've had my eye on for over about a year. This is one that I have was really worried about the money I spent at Gen Con on this. I was worried I wasn't going to like
No
it
regrets.
because I'm not an auction style or a bidding game person. This game is phenomenal, and that's called Skyrise from Roxley Games. This game is phenomenal, and everybody I've taught it, I've got to play with 2 different groups now. It has, without a doubt, both groups loved it.
Oh,
And
very cool.
I gotta say too, it's funny because I bought the premium deluxe, whatever. I bought the top of the line. So all the buildings are like sun drops. They're all individual buildings, like really gorgeous. Whatever they are, they're not wood. They're not acrylic. I don't know what they're resin. Maybe it's like some type of resin,
Mhm.
but with this gorgeous paint job on them, and every buildings are all the buildings are different. Like just it's gorgeous. So when it sits out, I think I sent you some pictures from the
Yeah,
table.
you did. It looks
Just
really good.
oh, it's fantastic. So one of the people in my group had just bought this game, and she didn't buy the version I had. And so at the end of it, she's like, "Thanks, Mark, for making my game suck." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I bought this, but I didn't buy this version." And now she won't. She's like, when she plays hers out, it's like, this isn't as nice.
Mhm.
This game is absolutely so much fun. It's visually stunning to look at, and it is so much fun to play in trying to like figure out how you want to do your bids, how you're going to place your buildings, which neighborhood you're putting them in, which bonuses you're going to get if you get that neighborhood. Are you meeting these other objectives? Like, are you able to control that particular island? Are you meeting the panorama goals of like, are you building next to blimps? Are you building next to windmills? Are you chaining buildings in a row? There's all these different goals. Are you meeting your secret objective? There's just so many different things to score points, and it just leaves a lot of variety. And then when you're bidding, pretty soon you get to a point where, you know, someone might make a mistake and put a building down, and it's like the next spot that's adjacent to that has nothing else adjacent to it. So when you take it, you automatically win it because no one else can bid. So you're trying to find things like how can I set myself up maybe to get someone to do this,
Right.
or and it's so good. Love this game, Skyrise. This, and I want to give a shout out to this was designed by Gavin Brown, Sebastian Pouchin, and Adam Wise. And the artistry on this, I'm gonna Andrew Bosley and James Van Niekerk or the artists on this game, and it's a beautiful game. You're building cities in the sky, so like you have these you're the board. It's kind of funny. You have a game board which really doesn't do much except have these 4 I think I forgot what they're called, but like founders at the top and these little these 4 tokens get shuffled up and placed out, and you don't know what, and they're basically victory points underneath, and you don't know how much each one scores. And there's these little tokens out on the maps when you get a neighborhood. You get, when you select a neighborhood, if it has an A, B, C, or D token on it, then you can look under one of the founders to match the letter to see how many victory points that one is worth. Let you know if it's worth it to go after some of the others. And then it's the score track. Otherwise, it's just 95% of the board is just clouds, and then you put your plastic or cardboard if you got the base version. You put your like these platforms out on the board, which are representing like these floating islands, and that's what you're building your cities on, your skyscrapers and stuff. And it's just so
It's like
gorgeous. The
cloud
art,
cities. Yeah.
yes, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
So,
when they designed this game, they took Santorini, which was one of their first games that they came out with years ago, and they one upped it. Like Santorini looked all really cool
uh huh,
on the table, and this definitely eclipses that.
yeah, this thing's incredible. It's an incredible
Yeah.
sight to see on the table.
So I take it you like Roxley games? Is that
I
safe to say?
so far, I only own one other one, and that's All Things Dice Throne. And
That's more than one game.
now I haven't gotten into like I've been eyeballing Radlands because
Oh
it's
yeah,
Roxley. Because of it, it's like,
it's like
okay,
their
what
new one.
else does Roxley put out? Like I went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Like I
So
really like them.
Santorini, they make there's a redo
Brass
of
Birmingham,
Brass. Yeah, so there's
yeah,
Birmingham and Lancaster,
Lancashire,
Lancashire.
Lancashire,
Yeah,
Lancashire.
yeah.
Yeah, these are.
That's a good game, by the way. It's a little so that's a Martin Wallace game that was kind of redone. That's a little I won't say a little heavier, but it's a little heavier.
I took it that Brass was definitely heavier
Yeah.
on the
But
heavy side. So
yeah, but that is one of the epitome of like old school classic game. People just love it.
yeah, yeah, I might have to attempt to get get one of those into my collection. I'll
Hmm.
probably check with my group and see if they have either. I mean, the rank like Brass Birmingham is like ranked number 1, and Lancashire is 20 on
Yeah.
BGG. So
Yeah. I think it's one of them was like a remake of Brass.
okay.
And then the other was kind of like a sequel, if that makes sense. It's not the exact same game as the original one.
So Brass Birmingham is the sequel to 2007's masterpiece Brass.
Okay. Wait, which one was that? Birmingham?
Brass Birmingham
Okay.
is the sequel to Brass. Lancashire. Oh wait. So Lancashire was first published as Brass.
Yeah.
So
So
okay,
that is like
Lancashire
a
is the
modern version.
remake of Brass, and then Birmingham is like the sequel to that.
Yeah. So that's like Brass 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I am a fan of Roxley to say the least.
Mhm.
So we'll see. All right, moving on. Comic Hunters. I got to play this. This is from Spin Masters. I know Rob, you and I'm going to tell you, you need to send me your cards that you got from Gen Con, um, because
No.
I've played this game a couple times now, and you have yet to play it. So you do not deserve to have those promos. um, Comic Hunters. I'm going to be talking about this later. I'll give you a little sneak peek, but um, Comic Hunters is something that I wasn't sure I'd like. I'm not a comic book person, but
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
was
matter.
watching. It doesn't.
Yeah.
This game looked like it would be interesting, and from what I've seen, people having fun with it. So I'm like, let me try it. It's not expensive, and so
It's
I
like
got it.
$25.
Yeah,
Dirt cheap.
I've played this a couple times, and this game is fun. I really do like this game. I have a lot of complaints we'll talk about later, but this game at the end is it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy this game. The whole you're basically playing four different mini games, and you're going to do this through three rounds. Each round you're going to play three of the four mini games. So you're gonna go to the store, you're gonna go to a flea market, you're gonna do an auction, you're gonna go to the convention all three times, and you're basically trying to get a collection of comics to and there's certain types of comics. Every time you play, you'll randomly have different heroes that will be worth more valuable. So it's always going to change. And then there's highlights, different types of comics that you can get bonuses if there's certain highlights that like it's a first appearance of a character or a number one of the comic, or there's an epic battle or whatnot, things like that. And those will change out from game to game too. So there's a lot of variety. You can go after trying to get as many comics of one guy, or you can try to just get a bunch of comics of a bunch of people. There's a lot of different ways to kind of figure out how you might want to score this and try to get as many points as possible. But it's a quick game, and it's actually a lot of fun. With the four mini games are, one of them's real quick. Everyone gets four cards. You take a card and you pass the three to your
Oh, the
left,
drafting. Yeah.
that drafting until everyone has four cards, and then you will go to the next game. So all the mini games are pretty quick. The convention probably takes the most because people are kind of looking at it,
Yeah. What
trying
is
to
it
figure out
like?
ways to move
Flea
a card around.
market was one
There's
of it, right?
store,
Right.
flea market, auction, and convention.
Yeah.
So really fun game. I really was kind of surprised. I'm really enjoying this, and so
Yeah. And
good
it's a
stuff.
card game, basically,
It
right?
is a card game.
May as
Yep.
well not even have that board. Well, I mean, it would be hard to score, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and a little pro tip: f- the highlights. So if you're playing the game, at the end of each, there's three rounds. At the end of each round, they tell you in the rule book to score your highlights. Don't bother. Score your highlights at the very end of the game, because you've got these really crappy, thin, almost paper. Supposedly it's cardboard, but it's practically paper, little discs that you're putting on your spots, and everyone is stepping. They're on the top of each other, and they move very easily. A light breeze will blow them around. It's just easier at the end. You can count everything up at the end and put it on. You put your thing one time on the highlight board. It just makes life easier. So, a pro tip there. All right. Next game, I've played this one twice with my daughter. I'm taking it to game night tomorrow night to share and teach my game group. This is another game I looked at for a very long time. I wanted to kickstart it originally. I didn't want to put the money into it. I have looked at it again. It was one I'm not sure. It's kind of a bidding game, but it's like a secret bidding game, unlike Skyrise, which is like here's your bid. You're placing your building upside down. Everyone sees the number that you're bidding, and with Fractured Sky, you are hiding your bids, and you all find out at the end of the game. And this is a resource game. It's um, it's a resource game that, like, man, it can be really tough to get the resources. Um, so you've really got to focus on realizing you're not going to get everything that you have in front of you out on the board when you play. There are fortresses which give you one extra troop power where you have an airship. There are skimmers which will give you a temporary troop power out there on a place that you're trying to claim. There are markets which help you get resources. And then when you're battling over a region, whoever wins um, will get a what's called a starfall if it's there. So the story is like the stars exploded into a bunch of pieces, and these pieces have gone all over in these different regions on the board, and you're basically trying to get those. The first person to get 10 of these starfalls wins the game. And at the start of the game, there's always going to be at least one that's revealed. And then it's like round one, you play 5 rounds. In the first round, there's a hidden one, and you can peek at the card, but it costs you resources to look at the card to see where it's at. And then you can try to go get it if you want. You do get a resource from that, but then you have an option of one of the three resources in the game: gold, iron, or wood. And you can use a little deduction for everyone else at the table can use a little deduction. It's like, oh, well, you took gold. So that means wherever the star falls at has to be in a place that has gold as a resource. So they can rule out those that don't have gold as a resource. So you know where it's at, but you're also partially helping everyone else in that way. It's about 5 rounds. You also have hidden objectives, which you can use resources to peek at hidden objectives and try to make sure that at the end of the round, you meet that goal to get a starfall. Um, and so it's very interesting game. I've only played it 2 players so far. This is I think it's a 5-player game, I believe. Yeah, 1 to 5. So I should have at least 4 tomorrow, if not 5, to play this. I'm curious to see how it goes in a larger group. My daughter and I played again last night, and we had a much better game the second time. We definitely stepped it up. Once we had kind of an idea of, okay, this is how it's working, and we were more focused on, we've got to get these resources, um, and we had a very competitive game. I actually thought I was going to beat her. I thought I'd figured it out. I'm sitting there trying to do the math in my head, and mathing sucks. And I thought maybe I would have pulled it off, but she used that deductive reasoning to figure out, what she knew compared to what I knew and where I was going, and she made some thoughts, and yeah, she ended up beating me in the end. But it was close. She beat me by 1 point. Um, and it was fun. Like, it was very neck and neck. So, fun game. I still looking forward to seeing this one. Is not as not I'm not all in like Skyrise. Like, that thing was just an immediate love fest for me.
Right.
This one is more of I'm still not sure, but I will probably have a really good idea after I play it with a full game, a full group of people. Um, and I'm looking forward to having a 5-player game tomorrow. All right. The next game I played was Mountain Goats. I got this the other day.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is I know you have this game, but it's what, level X, I think.
Yeah, it's the
Um
the OG version.
yeah. So I've got Mountain Goats, tiny little box, fun little game. It's just cute. If you got kids or older family members or non-gamers, everyone says I'm a non-gamer, yet they're always on their phone playing
Yeah,
games, right?
exactly.
Yeah. This is a game that you can get them to play. It's
Yeah, it's
super easy.
simple. Yeah, it's simple and it's fun.
It is. It's
Yeah.
it's fun. It really is. It's
Yeah.
especially what I do like. I will say the mountain goats, because remember we talked about this when I was out there in February, and I couldn't, like, I can't get this game, and I'm like, oh, they've rebranded as mountain goats. I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want this. I want the one Rob has. Well, I can't find it. I got this for like super cheap. I was like, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
let
like
me
a
just pick it up.
$15 game. It's
Yeah. And
yeah.
the idea of using, and you got the little mountain goat meeples, and you butt the one off the top. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I'm like, this has more there's more to it than what yours is.
Yeah, and there's also an expansion for it too, which, adds a couple of things as well, so makes it a little
An
more
expansion
advanced. Yeah.
for mountain goats?
Mhm.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. All right. Well, look at there's a
Go get
couple.
it. Go get it.
Gonna have to. When I turn it over to you, I'll pull up our everybody's favorite shopping site.
Yeah, this was a 3-pack when they did the Kickstarter for it. So just
Okay.
get the other 2 games with Sequoia and GPS. Just get all 3, and then you can get the expansion box, which has expansions for all 3. There you go, done
Okay.
deal.
What I'm seeing is 10-minute games expansions, the Mountain Goats expansion pack, and Mountain Goats Green Valley,
Okay.
and then something called Level 11, which does not look like Mountain Goats at all. I think that's in the wrong spot, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
Mhm. It's a
Next
good
I
game.
played, yeah, it's fun. Captain Flip. I I I I enjoy this game too. This is a simpler game, but
Yeah, it's a fun
it
game.
it's fun because like as you're going through, like you're getting near the end and you might pull something up like a tile out of the bag that's like, oh crap, this is going to mess with my bonus. But what's going to happen if I flip this tile? And sometimes it can cause a chain reaction, which
Oh
I
yeah.
love things that chain, even if it can be a negative, So it's like there's always this kind of like, what am I going to do? Do I negate these points or do I flip it and take the risk that, and you're like, okay, what else could it be? There's not a lot of tiles, so it's not that hard to think about what it could be. In some cases, like no matter what, flipping it is the best option. Um, and it's just kind of fun to be able to do that. And it comes with a bunch of different boards which give different bonuses. Like there's one that's like, the first player to complete this column gets nothing, but then everyone after that gets 2 gold, you know,
Mhm.
and you might be forced to go up that path, that column. And it's just like, so, you know, there's some variety like that and different things. So it's a fun little game. The other one I played, which is not a little game, Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness. And wow, this was like a 7-hour Saturday to play
Wow.
2 scenarios. No, I think we played 3. I think the first one was just this the starter. No, we only get 2 done. I can't even remember. I just know it was like 7 hours. I was hurting, but this is one of those like campaign things that we're going to keep going through and keep doing. And so this is the group that I was playing Dragon Dungeon Saga Origins. Well, this is like next level. Like this is really really good, and we're all working together. It's like it's not a like a 4v1 like the other one was. Um so we all have our characters and we're getting our um going through and battling out the monsters together, and there's just so much in this game. But one of the coolest things that I really thought was like that I is a pain, but at the same time, I think is kind of a cool game mechanic is what they call the darkness. So as you're playing and you get to certain parts, like especially like near the end, this darkness stuff will come out on the map, and like you're going to take damage if you're in there. So you got to constantly be moving out of it and staying out of it, and it really like adds to like the tension, especially when you're battling the boss and this darkness keeps coming out around him, and it's like yeah, this was a really fun game. This is a big game. Amazon's got it for $300. This is a big miniature, tons of boxes, um, lots of content, and I'm really really excited to play this and get more dive deeper into this game. So, Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness. Was another one I played this week. So I think that wraps up my list. Yes, that does. So, how
Okay.
can people contact us,
That's
Rob,
a
if they want
really good
to?
question. You can email us at contact at this board game life. And if you write in anything, we'll read it on the show if you have questions or whatever, or comments on any of the games or any of the topics that we talked about. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at thisboardgamelife.com. There's a widget on the right hand side where you can, use your microphone, use your phone, whatever, leave us a voicemail. It is not a phone system voicemail, it's just voicemail like, right? It'll record it and it'll send it over to us. And, of course, we've got the BGG Guild, and you can just do it from our website too if you don't want to send an email. So we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, let's get moving on with the topics here. I think we're approaching your little deadline, so let's get rolling.
Hey, I'm gonna go see Alien Requiem tonight, so,
Romulus,
or Romulus. That's it,
yeah,
Alien Romulus. So I'm so stoked.
yeah.
Um, the title is "When Publishers Fail." I changed this title because a few minutes before we record, I was calling somebody out. I had a publisher name in the title, and I'm like, okay, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll tone it down a bit because there's actually 2 in here that I kind of have a thing against, and sure Rob's going to go the other way. It's just the way he is. He's got to defend the publisher. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't defend anybody.
All right. So there's a game that Rob and I we crowdfunded through Kickstarter. And this is a game from All Play, and it's called River Valley Glassworks. Now, I was a little surprised, and we mentioned this 2 weeks ago, that when we went to Gen Con, this game was sitting at Gen Con available for purchase. Both the
Screaming, buy
retail
me. Yep.
and the deluxe versions were available at Gen Con. Yet these have not shipped to customers. So, Rob, you had told me that sometimes these publishers will pay an exorbitant amount of money to airdrop, airship, whatever, these things in to things like Gen Con and Essen so that they can, have some, they can demo, they can sell a few, get
Yep.
the buzz going. Well, and we talked about, I think we even talked about something in the last show that, like, yeah, but I still think that's wrong. I kind of get it, but at the same time, they made it available for people to purchase that never backed it, while backers haven't even had their copies shipped. Well, we were what, 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks out of Gen Con.
Yeah, that's about right.
This game is available at Barnes and Noble and Target currently.
And my local game store.
And your
Well,
lake,
I
and
saw it
yeah,
there.
and
Yeah.
probably at some other friendly local gaming stores. Rob, what's the status of your premium edition all in crowdfunded version? Where is that right now?
I have no idea because I got a bunch of messages with excuses on it.
Exactly. And this is the problem I
Yeah.
have. They are, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've looked, Rob, but the comments on the Kickstarter page, there was over 1,000 the other day.
Oh boy.
I
I
and I
can
haven't gone back
imagine
in a couple
where
of
they're
days.
going. Yeah.
People are angry. And I think justifiably very angry for very good reasons. Like, they're saying that there's shipping issues in the port, and because of the wars over in that area, and it's taking the ships longer. Well, Target and Barnes and Noble's ship came in. Like, that's the problem. This is a bunch of crap. They crapped on the people that gave them all their money up front to fund this. And that group of people they're going to be the last ones to get it. People who never backed this already have it. People are walking into Target and Barnes and Noble and their friendly looking, oh, this looks cute, and buying it, had no idea anything about this, that this was a crowdfunded project. And guess what? All of us who backed it still don't have our copies. All we have are
Right.
excuses. You can't say that there's shipping delays when all the retailers and the friendly local gaming stores, which tend to get it after the big box stores, have it in their hands. This is a huge black eye, I think, on All Play. I really think I think backers deserve something. I don't know what, because I know some people are like, well, you should give us a coupon or something. And I'm like, why would you want a coupon to give this company that screwed you over even more of your money? Because them giving you a coupon is nothing to them. It doesn't hurt them in any way because their games are overpriced. It's like them giving you a 10% discount. You're like, okay, at least I got something. Okay, that doesn't even cover your shipping that we paid, that everybody at Barnes and Nobles and Target and friendly local game stores or at Gen Con didn't have to pay shipping.
They're paying just gas. Maybe
Yep.
that's even more.
So
Depending. Yeah. Yeah. I was just looking at the campaign. I was looking at the comments, and yeah, it says that the games they've arrived and they're on their way to the warehouse. They'll arrive next week at the warehouse. Not and then they're
right,
gonna ship out. So
then they
it's
still got to
probably
ship them a couple
yeah,
more
it's
weeks.
so it's probably gonna be a minimum of at least 2 more weeks, I would think.
At least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think this. I gave a big old frowny down on Kickstarter for this. I mean, I backed this $89 plus shipping. I will not. I will say this. I know people say this. Oh, I'm not going to give them my money anymore. I will not back anything by these guys again. And this is the type of thing like, and this isn't even like I paid my money and I didn't even get anything, right? That's not it. It's
Mhm.
like it didn't fund. Okay, that's the risk you put in. This is a major company who should not be crowdfunding, period. Okay. I chose to give them my money because the game looks interesting. And they said, thank you, but you're not worth our time to follow up on our end of the bargain. We're going to give it to everyone else in the world. We'll eventually get to all the 7,173 people who backed it. So they're crapping on almost 7,200 people who raised over $500,000 to make this game happen, and they don't care about those 7,200 people. It- I'm like, I'm like, and here's the thing now. I honestly don't even want the damn game. It's on BGA. You and I are like, I'm like, I sent you a thing like, let's try this. But you know what? Every time it's like it's your turn, I have this disdain for this game
Oh,
because of
really?
the yeah. It's
Oh,
like I don't even
wow.
want to play it. I'm really, and I see people doing like, oh, I'm seeing YouTubers like, here's our walkthrough, here's our how to plays. Like, I'm so glad you got a copy. Like, it just soon as I see it pop up, I'm just like, I'm like, screw you all play. Like, this is not right. And I will say, as a consumer, am I going to ban all play? No. But I am not going to back
Because they're mountain
any of their
goats.
projects. Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Uh, I'm not gonna back these guys. If I see anything, doesn't matter how bad I want it, I will not. I will not back all play ever again because I know I'm
Just
gonna
wait for
get the
retail.
same version. I'm gonna get that deluxe version in the store. So even though those things which you normally are like Kickstarter's exclusives, there's none of that here, and the community is not happy. So I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
that's a sore subject for a long time with Kickstarter and crowdfunding in general. They're not the first company that to have done this. And, people are miffed. I get it.
So we're complaining, and we're in the US. So we're looking at late August to early September, right? That's was the last update I see from them on this
Yeah.
thing. Canada, they're looking mid to late September. European backers, September to early October. UK, mid to late September. Asia and Australian backers, they've received theirs. So they probably already have theirs in Australia and Asia. So looks like they're the only ones that have them, except for all the retail stores in the US and friendly
But
local gaming
but
stores.
those are like regular versions, right? I think the deluxe version was only in Gen Con and Kickstarter. I don't
I have seen people in those comments talk about, hey, they saw the deluxe version on the store at like Target or Barnes and Noble. I think it was at Barnes and
okay.
Noble that had the deluxe because they were making a comment. I thought this was a Kickstarter only. How
Oh,
come,
yeah.
that was one of their complaints. Like, why did I do this? I buy the stuff for the deluxe components, yet here I can buy it on the shelf because they were saying one of their buddies got it, the same version that he kickstarted, and he doesn't have his. So that's again that's kind of my issue here. So I'm gonna call him out.
Yeah,
All play. This is terrible. You owe the backers of this project something. Even if it's free shipping, you need to eat that cost of the shipping
it's a
and give us
customer
at least
sat
that back.
issue.
It
Yeah.
is because I might this has soured me even against this game when it shows up, and it's like, oh, I and maybe I'm taking a little too much into it. Maybe I'm a little emotional and like just a game. Who cares? It's not the game. It is the principle of the way the company treated their customers who backed them. We shouldn't get the back seat. And I don't expect extra special privileges like I'm in first class. Ha ha ha. That's not even the case.
Right.
But to put the people who gave you all this money for this project and then you put them at the back of the bus is wrong. So, anyways.
No, I get it.
Whew, I need to turn the fan on now. I'm
Yeah.
hot.
You got to do the thing from oh, what's that movie? Where you pull your ears and you go woosah.
Oh yeah, anger
Bad
management.
Boys. Bad Boys. I think
Oh,
it
I was
was.
thinking of anger management.
That was the
Hoosfraba.
no. Well, maybe that's where he stole it from. Bad Boys. No, because it's the police chief with
Oh,
who was in that? Was it Martin Lawrence and Will Smith? I think.
yeah, they're in Bad
Yeah,
Boys.
yeah. I saw the most recent one, by the way. It was really good. It's pretty
Oh.
funny.
All right. Well,
Anyway, so River Valley, one down.
one to go. So, Comic Hunters. So I talked about, you're like, well, wait a minute. You were just saying how you like this game and this is a good game. How can you be complaining? How did the publisher fail here? And Spin Master. So this game came out in Brazil like in 2020.
Yeah,
Comic
a
Hunters
couple
has
of
been
years ago.
around. It's just right now it's now releasing to the US. And I guess Spin Masters and Arcane Wonders.
Yeah,
Uh, so somehow they've got something together to release this, but I guess this is all on Spin Masters. From everything I've heard, the quality control, the product itself is all Spin Master. And the thing that and a lot of people are upset over the poor quality of the product. And anything I've watched that someone's unboxing or how to play, they always start off the same thing about how bad there's some pretty big names that have said, I'm sorry, but I got to call out the poor quality of this product. The cardboard, it's not cardboard. It's not. It might be cardboard in name, but like when you're punching it, it's like
yeah.
it's that type of very thin cardboard. Like I said, it's almost paper where it's like
It's
you're
like
terrified it's going to
one.
just rip.
Yeah, so it's usually designated in how many millimeters thick it is. I would say this is like 1 millimeter. No,
It doesn't punch.
seriously, like
It doesn't punch. It rips out.
yeah, because a lot of games I want to say they use like 2 to 3 millimeter thick board. This is
Not Manhattan Project.
what?
Those little cardboard people, the
Oh, the
workers in
dudes.
Manhattan.
Yeah,
The
that's
dude,
like
those things are like what,
they're
40
beefy.
millimeter.
Yeah,
Those are thick,
yeah, they are very thick.
which is
This is the
cool. But
opposite. Yeah,
yes,
probably one of the little scientist dudes, like all of that, uh, you know, paper material that goes into one of those. That's the whole sheet that comes with,
yeah,
like the whole chit sheet that comes with Comic Hunters.
yeah. You could probably stack all the chits in Comic Hunter, and it wouldn't even be as tall as one of the little dudes in Manhattan Project. But
Yeah,
so it's really bad quality. It's just like, and I know I think one of the things you were giving me crap is like it's a cheap game, $25, but it's like it's the Marvel license,
yeah,
and I didn't like when I got this. I did not expect like the cards. I think are okay. I think some people don't care for the card stock. I'm okay with the cards. They probably it's definitely a subpar card stock.
yeah. It's not, a fancy linen finish,
No, but
UV
it's
coating. It's very
no,
basic. Yeah,
but it's about as basic I think as you could get. It I think they need to be a little thicker. I think that's all for me. It's like these cards probably a little thicker would be better because I feel like when you're trying to shuffle them, they're going to just bend like break. you're gonna bend it real easy just because you're trying to shuffle the darn thing. But the
Hmm.
cards, I'm not as bad. You can sleeve them if you want to spend the extra money. I'm not a big fan of sleeving for
Yeah.
various reasons. But it's just the different, like the little check mark. You get this cardboard piece. I'm sorry, paper piece, and there's a little check mark that's supposed to go on the thing that you're on the little board. But like that thing covers like all three items. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's just like it wasn't thought out very well. And you know, so I know people talked about, oh, wait till they someone on Etsy will start making acrylic stuff. I don't know if they can, because the all of the heroes, those little pieces of paper that you're putting the markers out to say here's what scores this and that, those are copyrighted. So I don't know if someone can actually like make an acrylic version of
Yeah.
those, because they would be breaking copyright.
Yeah.
So
So there's STL files out there for 3D printers where you can make your own pieces for them. They're actually pretty cool. I linked it in the chat to you if you want to take a look at it. But what it looks like they did is you print like this disc, and then the pieces, the chits fit into it. So that's what they kind of did with those, and they actually look nice. I like the little check marker looking thing that they
your
have as well.
your link does not work for me for some reason,
Does
but
not work.
I did order I did order something on Etsy for this, because it the thing that um the Etsy one is, and it did just ship. I got a notification today it shipped. And it's mainly a box organizer, because and that's the other thing. Dude, the insert in this is so bad. It's so flimsy. I'm like why? There's extra pieces of cardboard in the insert that are just laying there. I'm like, you could have put these two extra pieces of cardboard, real cardboard, and you could have used it on the chits on the like, it makes no sense. Um it's just terrible. But I did, so I'm gonna like rip the whole little terrible thing out. But what I'm getting was that I ordered on Etsy was they basically have, I think, just these like rings,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
plastic
that's
rings that will go around your little cardboard
yep.
paper. And then they actually did 3D print the the little highlight tokens. So that's going to be like acrylic or resin or something. And then I've
But
got like, they printed out the little your secret stash numbers, but everything, and then it does have a like an organizer for your stuff in the box,
mhm,
which will be nice because I'm going to rip that piece of garbage out. And they have a little plastic small checkbox, and it actually has like a little arrow on the one
yep,
side pointing
that
to
thing
the one
looks
you're in.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
that's exactly what I was talking about. I just found it on Etsy.
okay.
That's yeah,
Um,
you can buy it from them for like what, 10-15 bucks, or you can print your
12
own.
bucks. Yeah, I
Yeah.
bought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's just, you're just putting those little rings. Now, another thing I thought of with this is I've seen people use like, you can buy them on Amazon too, like these what do they call them? Coin coffins or something. But they're like these little, like you would put like a penny in it and put the lid on it. Like it's in a complete, like this acrylic thing. So I'm going to try to probably find some of those. And then I could just snap these in there. And then these little cardboard pieces would be like in a clear plastic thing, and that would probably be better than even these little rings. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this. I got this to start, but it's just like, so the question I had is like, okay, it's a cheap game, but I get you're paying a lot. You had to pay a ton for this Marvel license. Does Marvel and Disney just absolutely not care about the quality of the product? That it's Marvel, right? This is their product. It's all Marvel, and it's like crap. It's like normally
Yeah.
Disney and like IP owners are very protective of what a third party do when they license it to them. And it just seems like Disney's going, everyone can have our license. You can do whatever you want with our game. We don't care, because the quality is terrible. And so the question is, how much more would it have cost them to increase the quality of this and make instead of little paper, make them acrylic or make them a hard plastic or even a thicker cardboard. Just up the quality. How much would it have been? Because this cost me $12 to buy some acrylic pieces and some rubber rings. I would have
Yeah.
paid another $10 to $15 for this game at retail,
Well, they'll probably
you
come
know.
out with a deluxified edition next
But
year.
at that point, no one's going to want it because everyone who wants that is already going to found a way around it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're not going to trust their deluxified version to be any good. So,
Yeah. One thing I was kind of thinking about this was that so Spin Master, they're like a big game company. I think of them like Hasbro, right?
okay,
And if you look at some of the quality of like the Hasbro games that they have for kids, I mean, they're pretty basic, so
yeah,
they basically gave a hobbyist game like the mass market treatment to make it super cheap, right? It was more about hitting a price point. And, maybe they tried to stay true to the version that came out, in South America like, 4 years ago, 3 years ago? Maybe they just wanted to keep it the same. I don't know.
yeah,
Because at that point, I would say that it was more of like a low budget game, right?
yeah,
Compared to like a bigger release like we have now, where it's more of a worldwide release.
yeah.
But yeah, and you're absolutely right. And, on a mass scale, they could have made it a $30 game with some nicer components and nicer card
Right.
stock.
And it still would have sold just the same, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's yeah.
I mean, when I heard that it was 25 bucks, I was really surprised. I was expecting it to be like 40 just because most card games nowadays are. Not that they have even like a ton more cards, but that's just like you get a little card game, along the lines of Six Nimmt or something. Even those are like 25 bucks. And that comes in like a little tuck box, so,
Right.
maybe there's a lot more profit in that one. But yeah, they absolutely could have done more. And, you know, the people on Etsy, they saw a deficiency and so they jumped on it. Good for them.
All right. Well, that
Anyway.
ends my rant.
Okay.
Here endeth my rant.
Okay. All right. So let's hurry on up and we'll take this out because I know you got to go.
Yep.
Do we want to go through the top
Oh,
three?
yeah. We can do this real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 3 places you want to visit.
Gen Con. Been there, done that.
Exactly.
So do we want to just go through this pretty quick? Like just run through all three of them
I'm just gonna
each?
say the names. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I was thinking about, should I do some game related stuff? Because, I'd really like to go to Essen one of these years. I think that'd be pretty cool to check out. But I just decided to just keep it like more general. And in third place, my place that I'd love to visit is Australia. And you know,
You want to start your breakdance career, don't you?
yeah, and be
B-boy
called
Rob.
yeah, Ray Rob or Rob Gun. I would I would probably deliver a worse performance. But Australia's pretty big, and for the most part, you're like east or west coast. I would probably do west coast, I believe. Yeah, west coast, like that's where the Gold Coast is and stuff like that. That seems really interesting to me. I'd almost love to go there. Wait, did you want to do your three, or you want me to just go to one?
I'll do number 3.
Okay.
I like to go to Tokyo, Japan sometime. I think and probably just Japan in general, but Tokyo, I think that's the main place I'd like to go. Just to experience it. I spent time in the service. I did a lot of time in Europe. And I just think, Japan would be a really neat place to see, to experience. Um, just kind of. I'm like I would love to like see all these like my understanding is everything's in a vending machine. Like you can get anything in a
Yeah.
vending
Yep.
machine in Tokyo, and it's like I just want to walk around and look at all the vending machines and check out their like just the crazy hotels and stuff they got, and just I'd love to see it like when the cherry blossoms are out and
Yep. Yep.
just experience some of the culture. And I think it would be such a beautiful time and be a lot of fun to go to Tokyo someday.
Oh, heck yeah. And that's actually my number two, to go to
Oh,
Japan slash Tokyo. And, I would like to go to the big city, but I would also like to, see some of the stuff in the countryside, going to Shinkansen and, um,
Kyoto.
the vending machines, they do interest me. I don't know how much, but, yeah, there's a bunch of YouTubers that I watch, like Eric Surf 6, Critical Eats Japan. They appear to be, there's some kind of Westerners that are, living in Japan, and they talk about the food out there and, the various kinds of like vending machines. Eric Surf Sykes is actually pretty interesting. Like he's got his two sons, and yeah, they try all sorts of weird stuff that they have out there. So yeah, my number two is Tokyo,
All right,
Japan.
cool. My number two is London, England. I got to tour a lot of Europe, but I never got up to England, and I would really like to go up there someday and just kind of see some of the countryside. Um, be able to just cruise to London and just to see what the big city's like and see, go past the palace and Buckingham Palace and all that and just just for the experience and just the again, it's I don't know, and I'll get us in a big way, like, that's a lot of us our roots come from England. At least mine are in that area, but yeah, it would be fun just to go back and or to go there and see the old streets and the old cabs and the red phone booths and the double decker buses and just all these things you see on TV. It's like I would like to see that in person and just experience some of the food. Not all of it, but
Yeah.
a lot of it would be fun to try out. And of course, that goes same with Japan. I'm not a big seafood guy, so I would not want to try a lot of the seafood type of stuff they have there. But yep, London, England's my number two.
Okay. And my number one is Ibiza, which is it's like a little island in the Mediterranean, right over by Spain. And
I was gonna say what?
yeah, yeah, this is like party palace, man. Love it. It's it's got the crazy nightlife that is like so interesting to me. So I would love to go there one day.
Rob loves a nightlife. He likes
Yes,
to boogie.
pretty much.
Oh, cool. Well, so we're already going to Tokyo, so I guess we're also gonna go to Australia, Rob, because Australia,
Hmm.
I put Sydney down. Again, it's just the most touristy place, but I think it'd be cool to see the opera house, to walk around it, to be in downtown Sydney, which you see in all these movies and stuff. But I would love to go into the outback and just see Australia, get the tour around the country and see different things. And Australia's always been kind of my number one location. I would love to go. Um, so maybe if we're ever hit the lottery there, Rob, you and I can take a tour and
Hmm.
we'll go hit all these places.
Oh heck yeah! And I misspoke earlier, saying that the Gold Coast is on the west. It's actually on the east.
Yeah, by Sydney.
Yeah, yeah. It's just north. Yeah, there's a TV show called Big Brother,
Oh yeah.
if you're familiar with it, and I've watched the Australian version of it and loved it. It was only a couple seasons, unfortunately, but yeah, I'm just fascinated by the culture and the people and stuff. So very
You
cool.
watch it for the naked people, just admit
No comment.
it. All right.
Alrighty. All right, so that's it for episode number 78. Thanks for joining us yet for another episode. We'll catch you all in 2 weeks with episode 79. My name's Rob. Thanks for listening, everybody. See you in
All
2 weeks.
I'm Mark. We'll see you at the table.